Let's address a narrative that keeps getting thrown around. The claim that the Black community is a matriarchy. I hear it on social media, in panel discussions, and even from within our own circles. But let's stop for a moment and actually ask, how can the Black community be a matriarchy when Black men are literally the anchors in finance, business, households, and political power? This isn't about opinions or false narratives. This is about facts, data, and structural realities.
So I'm not here this afternoon as a Republican, nor as a Democrat, not even as an American. So I have to stand here today as what I was when I was born, a Black man.
Before we get into the facts of the conversation, let me explain what a matriarchy actually is. A matriarchy is a society where women hold dominant power in leadership, wealth, decision-making, and inheritance. Lineage flows through mothers, property belongs to daughters, and men take secondary roles. For example, the Moso of China. Property passes through daughters and men remain in their mother's homes.
We're high up in the mountains in the southwest of China near the Burmese border, and we're on our way to meet the Musua people, who live in a remote place which is also known as the land where women rule. We're going to spend a week there to find out what life is like in one of the world's last matriarchies.
Minangkabau of Indonesia, which is the largest matriarchal society where women inherit land and political authority, follows female lineage. And lastly, the Akan of Ghana. A man's heirs are his sister's sons, not his own children.
The vibrant nation of Ghana in West Africa, the Akan people offer another incredibly compelling example of a society structured around the female line. They are a major ethnic group with a rich history and complex social system. Akan society is fundamentally matrilineal. This means that descent, inheritance of property, and succession to traditional political offices are all traced through the female line. Your clan identity comes from your mother. Akan women hold significant influence, especially in family decision-making. While men may hold formal leadership roles in the wider community, women's voices are powerful and respected within the family unit and clan matters. A particularly crucial role among the Akan is that of the maternal uncle, known as the Wofa. He is the most important male figure in a child's life, more so than the biological father. The maternal uncle is responsible for guiding and supporting his sister's children. He provides discipline, education, and acts as a link to the wider clan structure. This bond is considered sacred and essential. This matrilineal system, with its emphasis on the maternal line and the role of the uncle, ensures Akan women's economic security. Property and wealth are passed through the female line, protecting women and their children.
If Black America functioned like that, then we could call it a matriarchy, but we don't. Now let's focus on the facts. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics in 2025, Black men earned $1,053 per week in the second quarter, while Black women earned $942 per week. That's nearly $6,000 more per year for men on average, making them the financial anchors in most households. And when we look at wealth building, Black men hold more wealth than Black women. There are more Black male millionaires and billionaires compared to Black women. 926,000 plus Black men earn $100,000 or more versus 721,000 plus Black women. And that is according to blackdemographics.com breakdown in 2021 to 2022. Black men own more businesses and generate greater revenue collectively. In regards to marriage and family dynamics, 36% of black men are married versus 29% of black women. Of those married black men, 79% are married to black women, which means that marriage is not structured around women pulling men into their households. It's the opposite. Men are leading. And while we're on the topic of home ownership, from the National Association of Realtors, 44% of black homes are owned by married couples, 33% are owned by single black women, and 11% are owned by single black men. Yes, more single black women own homes more than single black men, but the majority of black homes belong to married couples, households where the man is usually the primary earner. Now let's take a look at political representation and who holds the power.
As of the 119th U.S. Congress, 2025, there are 66 black members serving in Congress. Out of those, 35 are black men, while 31 are black women. That includes 2 non-voting female delegates from Washington, D.C. and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So when we look at the actual leadership and political influence at the national level, black men hold the majority of congressional seats. The numbers show that black men are still leading in representation, both in the House of Representatives and the Senate. This isn't to downplay the contributions of black women.
Shirley Chisholm was the first African-American woman to serve in the United States Congress and the first woman of any race to seek the Democratic nomination for president.
They've made historic strides and continue to do incredible work. But the data makes it clear. Black men are not being outpaced in positions of federal power when we talk about leadership, influence, and representation. Whether in Congress, business, or education, black men are not absent, and they are certainly not being led by women across the board.
Black women have achieved symbolic milestones. Ketanji Brown Jackson, for an example, but men still occupy the majority of local offices, judicial seats, and political leadership across the board. So with all of that being said, have you ever wondered why the myth persists? One of the main reasons is custodial data makes mothers look like the heads of households. Welfare policies historically listed women as household heads when no man was present. And also, media framing highlights outspoken black women while downplaying black men's anchorship.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling, if someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
She's a bleach blonde, bad built butch body, and she better not talk about nobody.
That would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
I'm trying to find clarification on what quality.
Chairman, motion to strike those
words. I had no idea
words.
what you just said.
We're not gonna do this. Look, you guys earlier literally just said
You just voted to do it.
Y'all did it first, so you don't want to talk about it.
Voted to do it.
Order.
I'm trying to get clarification.
Again, black men lead in earnings and wealth, millionaires, billionaires, and high earners, business ownership and revenue, marriages and household anchoring, majority share of home ownership through couples, and political representation at multiple levels. The exceptions don't equal dominance. Structural anchorship belongs to black men. If the black community were truly a matriarchy, it would look like the 3 tribes that I mentioned earlier, with women passing down property, wealth, and authority through female lines. That is not what we see in black America. Instead, the reality is this. Black men are the financial providers, the majority of high earners, the leaders in political positions, the anchors in married households, and the stabilizer of families. Now let me be clear, this is not a dig at black women. In fact, it's the opposite. This is about showing you that black men are working, building, and striving every day, not just for themselves, but for you and for the black community as a whole. Our success is tied to your success. When black men lead financially, politically, and socially, we are doing it so our families and communities thrive. But I also need to say this, to the black men who are pushing this matriarchy narrative, you can be honest. If you personally believe the black community is a matriarchy, that starts in your household. That means your wife is the leader of your home. And if that's the case, that's perfectly fine. But make sure you give her the credit she deserves for leading your household. But what you should never do is project your own personal household dynamic onto the entire black community and onto black men as a whole, because the facts don't support that narrative. But wait, let me guess. You weren't talking about your household, right?
Get the fuck out of here. It's right here, all right?
So the next time you hear that the black community is a matriarchy, the data doesn't lie. The anchors, the providers, the builders, and the leaders are black men. That's not a matriarchy, that's reality. Peace.